Hello, hello, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Hearing Voices.
Episode 4.
Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah, sort of. Like
yeah.
I have new hope for stuff.
I'm not even going to ask you about what stuff that is. I am your ever humble host, Mr. Mark Allen Jr.
I'm his fabulous co-host, Patrick Peterson.
And today we are joined by Miss Wonderful Voice Actor Extraordinaire, Miss Julie Rei Goldstein. How's it going, Julie?
Going good. I've got energy in me. At least right now I do. I don't know about in an hour, but hey, guys.
Well, don't worry. The show's only 30 minutes. So.
Yeah, so you'll have enough time to work out your energy and pass out but after the show.
I'll just drink more Mountain Dew.
That's wonderful. So, Julie, you've been on the show once before, but it's been a little while. We haven't had you on in like a year.
Yeah, it's been about that long. Yeah.
But it's great because we get to have you on again because there's been more stuff with you in it coming out. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that's come out since you were last on the show?
Oh, wow. I've got Air Tenelico Koga, a Nell of RCL. It's a PlayStation 3 game. It's the third Air Tenelico game, I think it is.
Wow. Say that 3 times fast.
Air Tenelico.
Air Tenelico. No, it's not a pirate game.
Oh, okay.
That just came out last week. I play Mute, the burly, girly girl, and
who I'm assuming is not a mute.
No, she actually has a very colorful vocabulary, and actually,
fantastic.
I don't think you can repeat any of her lines on the show.
Well, is the game M for mature?
Yes, actually it is.
Wow.
I love swearing in video games.
For mature. You know, I don't actually do anything mature myself in the game, but I do have some very colorful words. I was having somebody actually tell me back like the lines that he saw because he's way ahead of the game than I am, and I'm like, wow, I actually said that out loud.
So you play through your own games that you finished?
I try. I had last year Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom was a game that I was in. That's for PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, I think I'm vaguely aware of Majin.
It's a fun little game. A lot of people were saying it reminded them of the old school Zelda stuff. Not so old school. It was kind of very Twilight Princessy.
Okay.
And
well, funny enough, that was like 6 years ago, so that is old school now.
Yeah, I guess. But then again, I used to have a Nintendo with, the small controller and the AB button.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's where it was at,
There is
man.
no shame in that.
No, not at all. And I remember actually like blowing into the cartridge to make it work.
Yes.
That's old school.
Yeah.
And then if it didn't work, you slam it in there a couple of times, hit reset, and then...
I was even worse because I actually, I'm a cheater, so I had a Game Genie.
Oh!
And that was like double blowing because you had to blow the Game Genie and then the cartridge itself to make sure that both of them actually went through, because sometimes it would get the Game Genie but not the cartridge.
Wow, I'm loving this retro geek talk.
Right? So let's gear back towards less geek, more voice
reel it
over,
in.
which is geek.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah,
So-
because voice acting is a very geeky job to have.
It is.
It's pretty geeky, and
Yeah.
it's fun when you actually recognize stuff that you're auditioning for, because
Yeah, it really is, except for when you don't get it, and then you're like,
I wanted that.
I was so
But
close.
But I'll see names and I'll be like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
Or I'll go home and go, why did that sound familiar? And then I'll do a Wikipedia search or Google, and suddenly it'll be like, oh, I auditioned for that game? That's awesome.
I always love when they come out after you auditioned for them and you never heard any news about them, and then they're out all of a sudden. You're like, oh, I guess I'm not in this.
Oh, that makes me sad.
That's all right.
But I've had that happen, as every voice actor in the industry has.
Yeah, it's kind of it goes around.
Yeah, but I mean, if you stay in the game enough and you got the drive, there'll be video games out there with your name on them. You can do it
and
too.
No one will want to play them except for me. It will be fabulous. I will have every copy ever.
I like playing my games. As I was saying, I played through Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, and I got through that in like a week. It was fun. I got my platinum trophy on PlayStation
Look
Online.
at you. Wow.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen in Artenelico for a while. I started playing it, and I'm a week into it and still 0 trophies. So, you know,
I
I'll
myself am a trophy whore, so we need to talk later just about the logistics of wasting your life for trophies. But how long have you been with the voice acting, well, specifically for the video game industry? How long have you been doing voices for video games?
Video games are actually the last thing that I jumped into. I think the first video game that I did was even 2009. I started in anime and animation back in 2006 when I moved to LA. And video games was kind of like the last frontier for me. And then in the last 2 years, it's basically been all I've been doing for the most part.
Now, how does that compare to anime? Actually, some of the titles that you have mentioned are, in fact, very anime-based, but in general, between voicing a series to a video game, what sort of differences are there?
Well, first of all, most video games, you don't have to deal with matching lip flap and matching timing. Sometimes with Japanese video games, there'll be a reference. So they've done it already in Japanese. For example, Ertonelico, there was a Japanese reference, and funny enough, Mute, they wanted a completely different type of voice for Mute because in the original Japanese, it was let me get her name right, Ikue Otani.
Oh, she's got one of those cutesy voices.
Yeah, she's Pikachu's voice actress.
Oh, nice.
And she tries to sound tough, but they wanted more of a testosterone-filled read for Mute for the English voice. So even though I had her voice going through my head, it was a very different type of read. But we kind of tried to keep the exact same attitude because she's got a very particular, colorful attitude.
But even like the American version of Pokemon kept that woman's voice as Pikachu, right?
Well, at least until they changed it a couple years back.
Well,
they decided they were going to pay somebody to do it now.
Don't even bring that up.
Yeah.
Aww. I like it when people keep their jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
usually,
exactly.
Usually good news that way. Okay, so we got to ask you a question that you've never been asked before, and I have to try and ask a question that isn't the one I asked last time you were on.
Oh, this is your weird question
Yeah,
of the week.
the weird question of the week. Brought to you by me.
I'm
I thought
afraid.
you were about to say Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. No, okay, so here's the question.
Okay.
If you could take any personal item, something that you use on a day-to-day basis, and turn it into a weapon, which would it be, and what weapon would it be? What would the weapon do? It can't be like, oh, I would turn my business cards into ninja stars, because that's boring. We need something more exciting than that.
That's pretty exciting, though, as it is. Sorry, I won't interrupt.
Wow, that's actually a really good question.
Yes!
Yeah, no, you totally got me. You
Winning.
know what?
Tiger Blood winning. Duh.
That's actually my ringtone nowadays.
Yes.
You know what? Here's an interesting one. I carry around whatchamacallit, Purell with me, like hand sanitizer stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to turn that into like pure acid, so like, saliva from alien mouths.
Oh my gosh, that's
aliens.
awesome.
So like if I really wanted to, I could just pull it off and just like squirt it on people and they would like melt into
that's
little
kind
puddles and it would be awesome.
That's a little benevolent.
Benevolent?
Yeah.
Having your face melted off with acid is benevolent?
No, her melting somebody else's face off with acid is benevolent.
Well,
I'm
they'd
not
have to
following
really
your
deserve
logic,
it.
sir.
Well, what if they're like a bad person?
Well, if they deserve it, I
Right?
guess so. I'm not saying I'm not saying
Just
I would
random
just do it for
children
random-
that you just see.
A school bus of orphans.
Nothing like that, right?
Orphan
No,
puppy dogs.
I'm really nice.
Puppy
I would
dog.
only do it if someone like really deserved it. If like someone
Mark,
was
for
really,
example.
really
Like me, oh, of course. You know what? I haven't had my face melted off in a few weeks. I think I'm overdue, so.
Well, there are not many weapons that are actually used to like befriend people unless you're magical girl lyrical
play the Mortal
Segue.
Kombat games.
Mortal Kombat.
Play the Mortal Kombat games.
Wait. She's segueing here.
Oh, segue. Sorry, I'll stop.
Oh,
Segue?
Just because that was a anime series I was in, Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha, and her entire the magical girl in her is all about befriending people. So she fights people and then befriends them, and that's the only time that I've actually seen a weapon used.
I always love
That's lovely.
Friends.
when
somebody.
she gets really uber powerful and befriends the entire world.
Really? That's possible?
Well,
Yeah.
for her it is. She gets
Nice.
into this fight. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say too many details, but she gets into this fight and she launches this huge laser beam at her opponent, and then like half the world explodes. So there's this internet joke that she just befriended the world. Some people have taken like they've edited pictures of like Gundam, and so it shows like the explosion of a Gundam, but instead it's the world. So it shows Nanoha, shooting her laser and then the world exploding. And
That is
it just adds to the
amazing.
joke. It's pretty cool.
I'm nodding silently.
Well, you should nod more audibly so the audience can hear you.
And watch Lyrical Nanoha.
It
so
is
you can
actually
understand
really
references.
good.
How do you spell that for an
As it
illiterate?
sounds.
Lyrical,
magical-
Nanoha.
Yes.
Nanoha. Lyrical
check
is
that out.
Lyrical.
Unless
Yeah.
you're Japanese, and then it is Lil. What is it? Lilical.
I think so.
Or
But it-
RIR or something.
I found out it's on Netflix. If
Oh,
Shut
is it?
up.
Is it
don't wanna-
streaming?
No, it's not
Oh.
streaming, but you can
No.
get the discs from there.
That's cool.
So if you want to see it, but you don't want to pay, I don't know, what is it nowadays, like $20-$30, but that's pretty
Dude,
much what you pay for
$5.95
Netflix.
for the one DVD. Come on.
Yeah,
Really?
anime has
Yeah.
gone down in price in general. It's been more accessible. Because I remember back in the early 2000s, it was like $60 for the FLCL Fully Cooley series.
Yeah, that was
and
a
now
little
it's out for
ridiculous.
$20
On Blu-ray.
On Blu-ray,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And they've been much more, Funimation, Toei, everyone releasing their DVDs have been much more economical about it. They don't
Well,
take up an entire shelf. just
They
for-
realize that their entire viewership is like high schoolers who don't necessarily have full-time jobs and can't
Right.
afford to pay $3,000 every month for their favorite anime.
Yeah,
So-
unless they want the collector's market out there that actually wants like collector's things.
Right, and there are a few of us. There are a few of them out
Yeah.
there. So
A few of us. That
No,
was a
I said
Freudian
them.
slip.
I said them clearly.
I like the season set. I'm currently picking up all the Dragon boxes of Dragon Ball Z
Oh,
and Dragon
yes.
Ball Kai.
That's cool.
Which, as a segue, I
Another
got
segue.
really.
You're
I-
on the segues today, Julie.
I'm on segues. Yeah, I've got one next to me actually. It's the battery died, so I got stuck in front of the microphone doing the show.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
I didn't
but
realize
just-
you were forced into doing the show. Jeez.
No, I love you, Mark.
Yeah, sure.
Really, hearts. I'll befriend you.
No, I don't want to be befriended. I like my organs to stay internal, please.
Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, I have a project that's coming out, I think within the next month or month and a half. It's a audiobook called Prophecy of the Flame. If you go to prophecyoftheflame.com. And the interesting thing about that project is I got to do that with Sunny Straight, who on Dragon Ball Z plays Krillin. So it was
Awesome.
Very cool.
awesome. As an old school DBZ fan, it was like, yay, I got to work
Candy.
with Krillin.
Candy for everyone.
And befriendings, too.
Yes. All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with the cold read, which is going to be a little different this week. So those of you at home, stay tuned, because this one's going to be exciting.
Very exciting.
We will be right back.